Welcome to Copper Creations. My name is Sandy, and today we are going to take a pre-cut piece of copper and make a little embossed art piece out of it. You should have already picked up your take and make bag with all the things you're going to need for this project. Let's get started. You'll find everything that you need for the project. You'll have a piece of paper cut out with the template or tracing pattern for our project. There'll be obviously a piece of copper. There'll be a tool similar to this called a stylus that we're going to be drawing on our template with. A little blender stick that you might be able to use to make some indentations in the copper. A little mat that'll make it easier to draw on to make your lines deeper in your copper, and a piece of sticky tape that we're going to use for a couple of different things. So the first thing is, some of the corners on this copper are a little pokey. If you're at all concerned about that, you can just tear off a little piece of the blue tape and just tape around the corners just to protect it so they won't poke you. I didn't have too much of a problem with that, but by all means, if you're concerned about it, just tear off some little pieces and then you can take them off once you're done. Then we're going to take our template and we're going to tape it to the copper, and that's just to hold it in place so that we don't start out here and then go here and then our design is going to be all cockeyed. So just take your template, and if your copper, some of them lay a little flatter than others. If you have a bend like this, and it doesn't matter which side you do your design on, but if it bends, because the copper kind of bends back when we draw on it, tape it. You see how it's bending like this? Not like this. So if it's bending like this, take your design and tape it there, and that'll kind of use that natural shape. And then we'll just tape over the corners like this, and that's just going to hold our paper on the copper, and then we'll just get it all lined up. And the tape's not going to affect the design because our design doesn't go all the way to the edge. So just tape it on there so it doesn't move. And you'll probably have some tape left over. So just tape it like that. And then you're going to take your piece of foam. And there are different colors of foam in your bag. Some of them are brown, some of them are black. I think there's some beige ones. And it doesn't matter what color you got, they're all the same. And then you're going to take your tool, your stylus is what it's called. And then you'll just start going around the edge of your design. And you'll see that your tool is kind of rounded on the end, and that's going to allow, when you press down, that's going to allow the copper, or it's going to push the copper down into the foam pad to raise the design. Some people call it embossing, and it doesn't matter if you start inside or outside. You can do it either way, and you can start inside and just trace around. And you want to push a little bit, and you can go over your shape multiple times and then just work your way around the pattern. And you may have to go over it a couple of times, and you can, if you kind of lose track, because it is kind of hard to see, you can always just turn your design over, and can you see where the design is starting? And you can feel it. You can feel the lines being raised on the other side of the copper. So you just want to keep working that and just go through your design. And just, and again, you just go over it a few times if you want to. And you want to kind of press kind of hard because it is a little thick. Copper's kind of thick. And you just kind of go over, almost like coloring kind of, and just go around and do your design like so. Just keep going around and around, working through your design. Go over and you can work it through in any manner that you want. If you want to go start on the outside and work all the way around, you can sure do that. I don't think there's any wrong or right way to do this. If it's easier to just do one at a time, you can do that and just work your way all the way around. And again, you can go over stuff and just kind of press really hard. And if you lose your spot, again, you can turn your design over, find where you left off, and you can just go back and go back to it. And just work your way around. And then you'll just continue to do that until your design is done, until you flip it over and you're all done. And see how I've gone all the way around here. And once you're done with the design, if you feel like you want it to be a little pushed out a little deeper, one thing I found is if I took the paper off and went over the design without the paper, because the paper is another layer for us to push through, if we go back over and push without the paper, it makes my embossing or my indentations even deeper and easier to see. So that's another thing you can do if you go all around it and you still would like it to show more, you can just go back over it without the paper. And you can use either end. The smaller end is going to make your details more distinct. So you can just go around. Make sure you stay on your foam. That's going to work best. If you try to do it on a hard surface, the foam is absorbing the pressure from our stylus. So if you try to draw on a hard surface, you're not going to get a very good indentation. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just not as deep as when you draw on the foam, because that's kind of absorbing some of that pressure and letting the copper kind of pop out. And you can kind of feel it almost when you go over it the second time, how it's making our design deeper into the copper. So there you have it. Have fun, and we'd love to see your projects. Joining us for Copper Creations today. I hope you had fun with this project. We'd love to see any video or pictures of you doing the project, and you can share them with us at the email address coming across your screen. Happy creating art, and we'll see you next time. Bye.